New Grad Success Summit. This is the very first masterclass in this summit, and we are going to be talking about driving your career the smart way. We're going to be talking about how to earn six figures, even as a recent graduate, how to pay off your student loans and become financially free, and really how to grow your career and lead the life you deserve as a practitioner. This summit is for soon-to-be grads, students, recent graduates, part graduates that maybe just have worked a couple years, and even seasoned professionals. Throughout this summit, we're going to be talking about so many amazing and important points that are going to be valuable no matter where you are in your career. The summit. So first I'm going to give a little overview of the summit, and then I'm going to dive into the meat of this masterclass. So if you don't want an overview of the summit, I'd say probably fast forward about 2 or 3 minutes, but really fast I'm going to be talking about what is going to be going on in this summit and what you can expect. But then in this talk, we'll be getting into the nitty-gritty. We'll be talking about career planning and how to find a six-figure paying job even as a new graduate, but really most importantly, how to grow your career in a smart, consistent, successful way so that you're happy with where you're at. So really quickly though, why the New Grad Success Summit? Well, wouldn't it be nice to have a step-by-step system to know that when you graduated, you were doing the right thing with your career and your student loans? Wouldn't it be nice to earn $100,000 as a new graduate and really help pay off those loans in just a couple years? And wouldn't it be nice to expedite your way to potentially becoming a director or a leader in your industry, or even just preventing burnout and feeling like you're more in control of your career and not just a passenger? That's really why I created this summit. I want you all to be successful right away. And that's no matter where you are in your career right now, whether you're a seasoned practitioner or not. I really want you to be successful right away. And so in this summit, we're going to go over choosing the right career path for you, asking yourself what kind of questions to help you know that career path, and helping you grow your career along the way in a really smart and simple way that just you sort of find yourself being like, I found my niche, I found my career path. We want to help you secure a high-paying position and learn how to create a combined income of $100,000 even as a new graduate. I want to teach you in this summit how to be an amazing clinician while still having a life. We go over time management, how to be confident and competent, how to document in a really concrete way that audit proofs and prevents you from getting denials, but also in a quick, simple, easy way so you know what insurance companies actually want instead of writing these essays that your maybe clinical instructor may have told you to write. We want you to gain a complete understanding of your loans and repayment strategies, avoid burnout, and discover new career options, and really so much more. We'll deep dive into telehealth, non-clinical careers, and in this masterclass, we'll be going over several general career routes that are more traditional, but that are very high paying. So what you will learn in this class today is what questions to ask yourself when you're job hunting to help you guide your career. You'll learn how to find jobs. I'll also show you how to filter jobs to know, what high-paying jobs there are, so maybe you can attack those first and then apply to other positions if you're not seeming to get the jobs that you love. We'll learn how to analyze what jobs are best for your needs and future, and also the top-paying career routes for rehab professionals that not only pay you amazingly, potentially up to six figures or more, but also still grow your career and still provide you with mentorship. And then in the future masterclasses during the summit, we'll talk about creating an eye-catching resume and cover letter, handy-dandy templates included, how to ace your interviews, negotiate for several thousands more, how to be an expert clinician, alternative career routes, and student loans. So let's get into the meat of this talk and really discuss career success for new or recent graduates. So we want to focus on driving your career in the smart way, helping you earn what you deserve, but also not working 80 or 90 or 100 hours a week. So step one to guiding your career is to first try to think of your career path and try to ask yourself when you're starting out and looking at jobs to apply to, why would you want to choose X position? So there are several factors that I've come up with when you want to choose a certain position. You want to think about money, passion or joy, convenience, growth opportunity, and then a combination of one, two, or even all of these options. You also want to think about where you want to be today, 5 years from now, and then also 10 years from now. That's extremely important. Too many of us just think today and we forget about the future. And that's where we find ourselves trapped, frustrated, burnt out, is because we're not planning for the 5 or 10 years. Because to be honest, in statistically showing, we don't stay in our first job for forever. We actually move, maybe we relocate for family, we relocate for jobs, we relocate for so many different things. And so today's job that you get may not be your forever job, but it may help you jump the ladder and go to where you ultimately want to be. So don't be frustrated if your first job isn't your dream job, because it's all part of the puzzle that will fit together to lead you to your dream job. And then lastly, really think about your career route and how it pertains to your student loans. Many of us think of it just in terms of what do we want to do with our career, and we sort of forget about our student loans. But that plays a toll on us emotionally in terms of depression, anxiety, stress, and also in the future with our family. So I really think that we should bring up student loans in the forefront as well when we look for what to do with our career and how to choose certain jobs. That's not to say that money is everything, but we want to keep it in the back of our mind as a factor for how we grow our career. So next is the job application portion. Apply, apply, apply. I know many of us graduate and we want to only apply to the best jobs. But here's the thing about job profiles and job postings. They may be amazing and you may not know it. And so don't cut certain job postings short. They may actually be really great. So you want to apply and then really weed out the good and the bad in the interview. Because having a lot of interviews, especially as a new graduate, isn't necessarily bad. It's actually extremely helpful. Every interview gives you more confidence. It helps with the next interview. It helps you in the future with public speaking and for that final job, that dream job you want 3, 5, 10 years from now. So be open to many job opportunities. You never know what setting you're going to love. You never know what area in the world you're going to love. And you never know those coworkers. You may not love a setting, but the coworkers are great, or your boss is great. And so just apply and go from there. Hedge your bets. So we're also going to talk about where to find jobs, because many of us graduate and we sort of feel a little lost in where to go. So Indeed.com is a wonderful resource, and I'm going to show you in a minute what job postings look like and how to filter those jobs to help you expedite your job search and find the job of your dreams. LinkedIn also is becoming extremely, extremely popular because that's more of a personalized job hunt where people from LinkedIn may reach out to you via messages, or you may reach out to them via messages and then start a conversation. And that's really great because that's sort of like a pre-interview. You can get a little bit more information to know, is that something that you would be interested in or not? So if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, it's absolutely free. And I encourage you to go to LinkedIn, make a very professional profile with your photograph, your name, your license description, are you a DPT and OT, etc. And just some more information. Put your clinical on there, put your job experience on there, put anything else that you feel like would help you ace a job, because LinkedIn is the new place for recruiting. Next is peers, professors, friends, family. Many of jobs these days are actually found through connections, like our peers, professors, friends, and families. And so just when you're looking, ask around. It doesn't hurt to mention it. The other thing to think about is where did you go for your clinicals? Maybe they have some connections, or maybe you can actually work at that facility. Because the best thing about the clinical is it's like a working interview. You already know the coworkers, you know the documentation system, you know the layout, you know everything, you know your bosses. And so more than ever, if you really loved a clinical, really try to see if you can score that job. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to show you a job post. So this was copied from Indeed.com, which is where I've actually found all my jobs. Well, as a traveler, they sort of helped me find some of those, but I found my first travel job actually through Indeed. But so what you have here is the job posting. And so it didn't quite screen share it, but there's a search bar here. And so you type in, say, physical therapist or occupational therapist, and then the location. And then it pops up with this. So it's got a list of jobs. And then when you click the job, so I clicked this staff physical therapist at Restore, and then comes further information. If you like this job and you want to apply, simply hit now. And that will pop up the description of what you need to do. Some jobs, it's just a resume. Some it's a resume and cover letter. And it's really simple on Indeed. You just upload it. And versus some other facilities, you'll actually have to go and input everything, and it can be quite time consuming. But you can see here that they've got the location here. So they've got it's in Long Island, New York. So the first thing to ask yourself is, do I want to live and work in Long Island, New York? Or can I live there? Can I afford it? Can I commute there? Some questions to ask yourself. Then I would go and I would Google Restore Plus Physical Therapy. What does the website look like? What are the descriptions? What do they offer? What setting is it? And then scrolling down, you can look at sort of what they say here. They're looking for a licensed physical therapist who enjoys the outpatient orthopedic setting. And you can just read this more. Overall, this job posting, it doesn't really tell you a lot. It doesn't tell you the hours, it doesn't tell you the pay, it doesn't tell you the patient caseload. So there's a lot of things here that's lacking. But you can sort of start to get a drift as to, are there several factors in this job post that may match with me? And then what you can do is call up or email Restore, or simply apply and then see when they hear back, and in the interview, do a deep dive. So next on this is the filtering I want to talk about. So Indeed has the ability up at the search bar here to filter, and you can filter all these different categories here. So you can filter by proximity to a certain location. So perhaps you hate commuting, like me, I hate to drive. And so you could filter for like 5 miles or 10 miles. That's going to really help narrow the jobs available to you. Then you can also, within that same filter, narrow by full-time, part-time, temporary, contract, and then pay here as well. So what I would often do when I started out is I would filter by proximity, like I said, giving myself about a 5-mile radius, because at first, if you don't see anything, just change the radius to 10 miles. So I gave myself 5-mile radius, I clicked full-time, and then I went here to salary, and I said, what the heck? And I hit 70 on up. And then I said, even more what the heck? Let's hit 80 on up. And jobs popped up. And I said, it doesn't hurt to apply. And so my very first job I earned is either $85,000 or $86,000 as a new graduate. Fresh off the boat, new graduate, $86,000. So it can happen. And you just have to apply. And the job posting was pretty vague, but it was walking distance to where I currently lived. It was a setting that I thought I would enjoy, a patient population I thought I would enjoy. And the pay was, it showed a range. It didn't show an exact number, but a range. The pay was just too good to give up. So might as well try. So hopefully that helps you with understanding what job posts look like, how to go about using Indeed. Indeed also has a ability to sort of save jobs, and then when new jobs pop up as well, to alert you. So if you have saved your filters for a certain location and salary, then when those jobs pop up that are new, that fit that filter, they will alert you. Indeed will. And it's absolutely free. So check out that and see if that helps you with your job search. Okay, so now that we know that we have to be open and apply a lot of places, we sort of know what questions to ask ourselves as we're going through the career planning process. Step 3 is to know that this job will not last. So unfortunately, likely this job won't be your forever job, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Many jobs are stepping stones for future growth. So for example, it's often used that people job hop to become directors or to become making 6 figures in just 1, 2, or 3 years, because every single job, they negotiate for a higher salary. because you never want to get a lower salary when you change jobs. And so you can negotiate. So really don't stress. If you've applied to a job and you've accepted it and you're not happy in your job, it's okay. Don't stress that you didn't pick the right one. You can start this process over again. Yes, it's a bit of a pain, but you can actually use your mistake and earn more when you go on for your next job. Because this is a foot in the door. This is a place to learn unique skills. Every single job that you have, whether you love it, hate it, or just survive it, you've learned something unique. You've learned something that you can take with you to all your future jobs. So it's okay if you don't love your job. Try to find one that you do. Try to find one that grows your career. But use what you've learned. I guarantee you that it hasn't been in vain and that you've improved, at least with your clinical skills, your confidence, etc. And be open to more opportunities after your first job and even while you have your first job. So I often recommend that people look into per diem positions because it's a way to help keep your skills fresh. Because often when you're in one setting, you may not be using the skills that are needed for other settings. So you can sort of double dip and have a full-time in, say, outpatient and a part-time or per diem in home health or in acute care, so that you're keeping both skills really fresh. So that, and this also really helps because it helps you earn more. It helps you sort of feel like you're really more adaptable, and it really will help you in the job market because having both of those skills means that you can apply to basically any setting, any job posting out there. When I was a new graduate, I worked full-time, and then I also had a per diem job in acute care. And that's really, I grant that per diem position with really helping me grow my career. Because without that, I wouldn't have scored my next job, which was an acute care position. So that per diem was enough of experience for them to accept me in the acute care. Whereas if I didn't have that per diem position, they may not have accepted me. So keep your eyes open for per diem. That's also a wonderful way for you to transition. If you're unhappy with your full-time job, per diem job, usually they get first dibs when they do hire full-time. And it's also like a working interview again, where you can see, is that a place where you actually want to work full-time or not in the future? So just be open and be okay with your career decisions as you go along this path. Mine has definitely been very zigzaggy. So it's really hard to have it be a perfect streamline, but you can always sort of recover and zigzag, to make sure that you're getting the career path and the jobs that eventually you love, if not right away that you love. Okay, so step 4, don't worry, we're getting to the end here. Step 4 is understanding your job package, and that will further help you guide your career path. So many of us just think about settings, just think about money, but actually there's a lot deeper thought process to go over when you're about to choose your job, especially your first job, because you may not know the ropes as much and know what to look for in a job application and in a job negotiation. So the elements that I've laid out, and there are money, lifestyle, benefits, and apparently I think money is very popular because money's also at the bottom. But money, lifestyle, benefits, and growth are the 4 big ones. So money. What you want to do before you accept any position is understand the total package. It's not just what you're getting paid on a regular salary basis, but productivity bonuses, overtime, maybe a combination of different things like CU reimbursement, student loan reimbursement. So earnings can come from a lot of different things. So try to understand all the different monetary benefits that you have with one job versus, if you're comparing, versus another job that you may be weighing. Then lifestyle. You have to think about productivity. What are they asking in terms of productivity? Is it 80%, 85, 90, 95%? Hopefully not 100. And see, is that something that you could live with? Is that something that you could survive? Because, you have to weigh that in terms of how much you're earning and productivity. Because unfortunately, normally there's this scale where when you earn more, productivity goes up more. But don't be fooled, that's not always the case. You can find your dream job that maybe has a perfect balance. Commute. This is huge for people to think about, and they often don't. But What's your commute like? Can you walk to work? Can you bike to work? Can you drive? Is it a 5-minute drive? Is it a 5-hour drive? Is it something that you could do long term? Because when you commute, you will get even more tired. You will get even more burnt out. Is the traffic bad? Is the traffic good? Then think about your hours and your work schedule. Is it a Tuesday through Saturday? Is it Monday through Friday? Is it 1 p.m. to 10 p.m.? Or is it a normal 8 to 5? And those hours really play a toll. Is it 4/10? Things like that. What's your work schedule like? Often I'm seeing these days these really crazy work schedules that are like Tuesday through Saturday, and then it fluctuates like 1 to 8 and 6 p.m. to 3 p.m. and that. And honestly, you have to think about, is that really what you want? Is that really beneficial for you, for your job growth, for your happiness, etc.? Stress. Certain settings may be less stressful to you than others. Maybe certain work environments may be less stressful to you or not. And so think about stress. And then documentation. Ask them in the interview, is there take-home documentation? Can we finish it all during a work day? Do you give us time and monetary compensation to finish our documentation? All of that are extremely important questions to ask yourself in terms of the lifestyle of each job and whether or not you choose that versus another. Next is benefits. So often we sort of forget how important these are, but they're pretty important because they actually cost several $100s if you're not getting them through your job. Retirement benefits, healthcare, days off for sick and vacation, and then extra perks. Is there maybe a gym that you can use? Can you use that facility? Are they reimbursing you for licenses, CEUs, relocation? All these little extra perks do add up, and they can be several hundred, if not several thousands of dollars. So think about also this package. And then lastly is growth opportunity. So do they provide continuing education courses? Do they provide continuing education reimbursement? Is there sort of like a lunch and learn environment? Is there mentoring? Is this formal mentoring, informal mentoring? Are there residency options, fellowship options? Will they maybe sponsor you for a residency or fellowship, aka will they pay for your residency or fellowship if you work X number of years? Is there ability to float to other floors and learn new skills? Is there ability to move up the ladder? All these things play an important role, not just in your earnings, in your growth as a clinician, but also in your happiness. When we feel stagnant, that's when we feel angry. That's when we feel frustrated. So if we can combine all these tiers, growth, money, benefits together, then that becomes an amazing job opportunity. So when you're thinking about choosing X job over Y job, think of all these information, and maybe these are some extra questions to ask during your interview as well. Okay, next, now that we're thinking about all these questions, we also want to go into the fact of opening your eyes up into top paying careers for healthcare professionals. Many of us graduate, and there's a bit of stigma towards certain types of jobs in certain settings. So I'm here today to bash that stigma and to tell you, forget about what your teachers say, forget about what your friends say, forget about your coworkers, think about you. And try, experiment, and be open to opportunities. The very best thing that I ever did for my career was become a contract worker and become a traveler. Because without that, I wouldn't have gained the variety of skills I have today. I wouldn't have gained the confidence that I have today to treat almost anyone. And I wouldn't have had the money to really feel financially free and set. And so it's so important for you to just think outside of the box in terms of careers. So I've come up with 5 top paying careers for you. And they are traveling, contract, home health, acute care, per diem. Now, these settings and career paths can provide you growth opportunities as well. So it's not just that they're top paying. I've also chosen these because you can still really grow as a clinician and overall in your career to climb the ladder. Now, some of these career paths may be easier for you than others. And so you don't have to follow every path, but just be open and see which one you may like. So we're first going to talk about traveling. And this is my top career path and my favorite one, because of several reasons. So traveling is where you take short-term contracts of 13 weeks. And what I like about that is that if you're a new graduate and you really don't know what setting you want to get into, or if you're a new graduate and you don't want to have your skills be lost, traveling is a great way to really circulate your skills. You could do an outpatient job one time, then a home health, then acute rehab, then a skilled nursing, and really grow your whole clinical skill set and be like extremely well-rounded. But also, it's only 13 weeks. So say there was a setting that you just really did not like, that's okay. It's just 13 weeks or 3 months. That is an extremely quick period of time. It'll go by like that. Plus, you're getting paid during that time. So it wasn't all for lost if you didn't like a setting that you ended up choosing. So I love it for the fact that it grows your clinical skills, it gives you variety, and it also helps you understand what settings you like and what settings you don't like. Now, it has similar benefits to permanent positions. You get healthcare, you get relocation reimbursement, you get license reimbursement, you get CU reimbursement. So it actually has a lot of benefits that are surpassing permanent positions. You can also work locally or far away from your home. Many people think that traveling has to be very far away from your home, but you can actually have a travel job and live at home as well. Your pay is just adjusted a little bit differently. It's in a variety of settings. So literally you can travel in any setting you've ever thought of. And traveling jobs are open in a variety of locations, cities, and states. And then typical salaries for traveling jobs, and this is for OTs, PTs, and speech therapists. For assistants, this is a little bit less, but usually between $1,700 to $2,000 a week after taxes. And so that's what you're going to take home in your pocket every single week. So potentially you're making $8,000 a week after taxes. And that really adds up to when you want to pay off your student loans to being able to pay them off in just a couple short years. So I'm a big fan of traveling because it has just amazing benefits for growing your career, paying off your student loans and becoming free financially and emotionally. And it also allows you to just experiment, have adventure, and while you're a new graduate, live your life, enjoy your life. Next is contract. So contract work is actually very similar to traveling, except you have yearly contracts versus those 13-week contracts. The benefits are usually very similar. They have the health care, sometimes reimbursed for CUs, often don't reimburse for the license or relocation because you're often already there, living close by to the contract job. They are often local, but of course you could move to a contract position as well. And like I said, this is just sort of a type of contract, a type of employment. So you can find contract positions in basically any setting and in any location nationwide. And the earning potential, it really does vary because of the nationwide ability. It could, Iowa's contracts could be different than California's contracts, but you can usually earn better than you do a standard permanent position because of it being an annual contract. Usually the shorter contract means the more benefit you have financially. So usually higher pay because you're taking on a little bit more risk because it's a less permanent position. Also, it has, usually it doesn't come with the benefits of permanent employees. Think like the retirement plans where if you work 10 years, you get, X% of your pay each year. Things like that doesn't come with those retirement plans. But many times permanent positions don't come with those retirement plans anymore either. Only federal jobs often do. So you're not really losing out on that. But so contract jobs is another route if you aren't really sure what setting, if you want to just go for the highest paying position. And like I said, they're in any setting or any location. So don't count them out as a job that you'll love. And also when that 1 year ends, they may ask you to sign again. And they may actually ask you to be a permanent employee. That's what happens for traveling in contract, is usually 90% of the time at the end of your traveling or contract job, if they don't renew you as a traveler or contract worker and you're a good worker, they will ask you to sign on and stay with them permanently. And so if you love that facility, this could be a great in and also a great negotiation tactic because you could argue that you already work there, so you don't need mentorship or orientation. You already live there, so you don't need relocation. You know the staff, and so you can sort of negotiate a little bit of a higher salary. Next, in terms of the high-paying career routes, is home health. So home health, acute care, and per diem are more for people that don't have, I think, as much flexibility. Perhaps you have a family. Perhaps you don't want to relocate. Perhaps, you're a seasoned professional and you sort of are tied down, you have your roots. And so this may be an option is home health and also acute care. So home health is one of the highest paying permanent positions. You basically go home to home providing one-to-one sessions. And that's what I really like about home health is that one-on-one is still there. You're getting to help people, but you don't have that crazy chaos sometimes of being in the clinic, having to manage so many people at once. It is a little heavy on the documentation side, but you can really earn a lot, and you can earn 80 to 100K potentially. And of course, with all of these, it could be less and it could be more, no promises, but it really can be. And if you're a go-getter and you have very high productivity, they often come with productivity bonuses as well. And that's where that 100K or plus comes in. Next is acute care, working in the hospital. So this is also one of the highest paying permanent positions. Usually you're seeing about 8 to 12 people a day in the hospital for between 30 to 60 minutes. And these are one-to-one sessions. So that's why I really like acute care too, is because you still get to feel like you're a practitioner. You still get that one-on-one. You don't have the chaos of having to multitask. You're treating more acute injuries like recent surgeries, recent falls. And once again, you can earn a very high paying salary too. I also really like acute rehab. This is basically where after acute care, they go into a rehabilitation setting for up to 21 days. That often though does not pay quite as much as acute care. And then there's per diem. So per diem is intermittent work. So basically, if you had a full-time job that you love, or just a full-time job that you didn't want to leave right now, and you wanted to maintain your skills and grow your skills and also earn extra cash, maybe for living expenses or student loans, then per diem is the route for you. So basically, you could work shifts after your full-time job. So maybe from 6 to 9 at night, or it could be a weekend shift. Things like that are per diem. Usually they're at least once a month required for you to work, but it could be more, it could be less. It depends on your boss and what you talk with your boss about. If you're, say, going on vacation 1 month and you're just very busy, they understand that. But usually they want you to routinely work with them. Average pay really varies because, nationwide, there's such a huge scale, but normally it's between about 50 to 65 per hour per diem. And where you really can make an amazing rate is when you work overtime per diem. So trying to score holiday per diem positions is the most lucrative ever, because then you're potentially making around $100 an hour. And so within a couple hours, one holiday, you have made almost like a week's worth of what you would in a normal full-time position. So per diem, I really advocate it. If you don't feel like any of these other top paying careers are for you, you can still try to get that 100K mark in your salary by combining full-time positions with per diem positions. Okay, so this is really the last couple slides here. And really to summarize is that every job will lead to more opportunities. Within a job, you can adjust the culture to meet your needs. So just because you've taken a job and you're not happy, doesn't necessarily mean that you need to leave the profession or need to leave that job. Perhaps you can adjust the environment within the job you're working, making it more positive for you. So if you're a new graduate and you're unhappy, or a seasoned professional that's unhappy, what can you do right now within your position at your work environment to maybe make things better? How do you adjust the culture to meet your goals and your career ideals? Perhaps it's trying to find mentorship informally or formally, maybe asking for more duties to help you grow, offering when you see an opportunity, or always learning, maybe inviting a rock tape or continuing education course to come into your facility to do a class, offering to, shadow, offering to, help do some sort of utilization review. There are a lot of different duties you can do. And the more you offer to help, the more you'll become sort of the go-to person and position you for directorship positions, senior positions, or just other growth opportunities or bonuses. So the takeaway here is that even if you found a job that maybe wasn't perfect, perhaps you can make it perfect. If it's got the right combination of a salary and commute, but you're just not having enough growth, talk to your directors, talk to your supervisors, talk to your colleagues. Perhaps you can start a lunch and learn. Be creative. So in summary, I hope you really feel empowered and understand how to guide your career, how to grow it successfully, and how to be open to opportunities and what opportunities can potentially make you $100,000 or more as a new graduate. So the keys is to be open and flexible. Every single time I always say yes to job offers because I don't know where they're going to lead. And they may lead me down tremendous tracks, tremendous locations, tremendous settings, and just make you feel very fulfilled. So always be open, flexible, and say yes. Try to plan in advance. I know it's very tough, but unfortunately, with your career, your student loans, your salary, it's really important to plan ahead because the cost of living today is very expensive. So try to plan 5 years or 10 years from now. Obviously, be still flexible with your plan, but try to see that big picture. And I think seeing that big picture will help prevent burnout and will help you understand your job trajectory and make you feel a little bit better about going to work each day, knowing that you've got a plan and growth that's coming. Looks can be deceiving in a good and bad way. So remember those job posts, be open to applying and digging deeper, either in a research mode before you interview or during the interview. Plan around your student loans. And know that your first job's not likely to be forever. So if you're not happy, look for another one and you can actually earn more in that transition. Or hopefully maybe you can accommodate that current job to make it your dream job. You can have it all. You can have high wages, adventure, experience in certain jobs such as contract or traveling. You can have it all, and it's up to you what you want to do. Obviously, traveling is not for everyone, and there's another career route out there for you. So I know that you can use hopefully the ideas in this masterclass to help you shape your career and have it all. Have that happiness, have high wages, and have lifestyle. Be able to come home and not feel super exhausted or burnt out. And then just an FYI, if I have inspired you to travel, and that's not necessarily what I was meaning, but often I get these questions, is that if you want to travel, I do have a free travel mentorship program because I am a big advocate of it, where I provide trusted recruiters, a complete Travel 101 success course that guides you through all the questions and answers to those questions, and how to pay off your loans with traveling course, and then free personalized travel plan via emails or phone calls where we hop on the phone and I sort of help guide you to your first travel job, that first process, and then any other questions you have. And even as you're traveling, I still get lots of text, emails, Facebook messages with questions. So you're always able to contact me anytime. And if you do want that, you can go to debtfreept.com/travel therapy/mentorship. I really hope you've learned a lot in this masterclass. I really hope you learned a lot in this New Grad Success Summit. And just go out there and be open, be courageous, and know that you are the master of your career and make choices in a really smart, strategic way to help you grow your career in a successful way. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in all the other New Grad Success Summit masterclasses. Bye-bye.